old, who has taken charge in 2 World Cups. Enzo Maresca just coming to the end of his first season in charge of Chelsea. They already have a trophy this year, having won the Europa Conference League, beating Real Betis 4-1 in the final back on May the 28th. They finished 4th in the Premier League in Maresca's first year in charge.
Enzo Maresca had a big decision to make, and we thought it was going to be like for like with either Malo Gusto or Reece James. He made the adjustment, pushed Reece James in the midfield with that trifecta of Enzo and Moises Caicedo, so they are man-to-man with what Luis Enrique's midfield three for PSG looks like.
Down the left side, and Sanchez able to claim his 6th start of the tournament.
Got a big matchup on the left-hand side defensively between Cucurella and Pedro Neto, trying to deal with Doué and Hakimi. 2 players, when you talk about touches, passes, possession, and overall effectiveness down that right-hand side.
Cucurella inside towards Enzo Fernandez. He plays it quickly forward. João Pedro is chasing in round the back here. He's got Gusto pushing forward right side of the box. Couldn't get the early ball in as Marquinhos defends. Support from Pedro Neto. João Pedro all the way back towards Cucurella. Chelsea with a positive start here against the European champions. Beraldo has to clear away.
Well, to put this start in context, Vincent Kompany and Bayern Munich allowed just 271 passes from PSG. And again, they went down 2 men and still won 2-0. But PSG is averaging between 600 and 700 passes per match. 630 to be exact against Real Madrid the other afternoon.
James turning in midfield. Played forward here for Cole Palmer. Support coming down the right side from Malo Gusto, but Palmer will try and wriggle his way along the edge of the box. Still going Palmer. Finds Gusto with the ball across the face of goal. Hooked away there by Nuno Mendes. And Chelsea's front foot start continues 5 minutes in here at MetLife Stadium with Caicedo. The ball down the line, too much on it for Gusto. 2 changes for Chelsea from the semi-final win against Fluminense. Colwill and James in for Tosin and Nkunku. Luis Enrique has been in charge of Paris Saint-Germain for 2 years now. They won the Champions League 5-0 against Inter, the biggest winning margin in a European Cup or Champions League final. They won Coupe de France, beating Reims in the final. They won the league as well. Remarkable record in knockout games of late for Paris Saint-Germain. Kvaratskhelia wanted a free kick for the challenge by Gusto, nothing given by the referee.
Statement of intent, 7 Chelsea players in the attacking phase of play looking to close down, build up out of a goal kick with the ball at the foot of Donnarumma. I think the question coming in was, can Enzo Maresca's side minimize PSG's width and overloads? And based on this start 7 minutes in, it's quite the opposite.
Caicedo with a first-time ball out wide right for Cole Palmer. Cutting in against Mendes. Gusto comes to join the attack and picks up play by the corner flag. PSG hardly out of their own half so far in the opening 7 minutes of this Club World Cup final. Chalobah across the back for Caldwell.
Well, similar to what we see with PSG in possession, Chelsea is really relying on the width. Gusto playing as high and as wide from that right-back position is what we saw the other afternoon against Fluminense.
Caicedo, inside for Reece James. Enzo Fernandez, wide for Neto. 25-year-old Portuguese attacker trying to cut in on Hakimi. Enzo Fernandez with the ball in. João Pedro back for Cole Palmer! He wasn't too far away. Chelsea's fast start almost rewarded.
Well, quick combination play, and it starts with Reece James's inclusion in the central part of this midfield for Chelsea. Ball played out to Pedro Neto, and that flick from João Pedro was perfect. And as he sets himself up with that cultured left foot, comes across the ball, maybe a slight deflection on the way in. Regardless, just inches outside that right post of Donnarumma. What a phenomenal start for Chelsea.
Donnarumma's high ball downfield He's played every minute of the tournament, has 5 clean sheets in the previous 6 games. PSG conceding just 1 goal. That came on match day 2 in their only loss of the tournament against Botafogo at the Rose Bowl. Brazilian side getting the win that day. Although PSG did have 16 shots and 74% possession, they just had 2 shots on target. Caicedo's ball forward, and the former Brighton man, João Pedro, will chase forward. Ronaldo does the defending.
Does a good job, João Pedro. When he's played down in these channels, he's going to have the ability to stretch his legs, and that's going to be a tough challenge for Beraldo. But right there, stands his ground, deft little toe poke, takes him out of possession.
Marquinhos. Brazilian at the back alongside Beraldo today. Pacho had played every minute until his sending off against Bayern Munich in Atlanta, where PSG needed a couple of late goals to get through in that quarter-final. Hakimi down the right side up against Neto. Positive run forward here. This is Doué. Hakimi once again, back for Vitinha. They'll switch it across here to Nuno Mendes, who has appeared in every game and started 6 now. Kvaratskhelia, a goal and 2 assists in the tournament, up against Gusto. Georgian international back to Ruiz. The first real sustained period of any possession inside the Chelsea half here for PSG as Marquinhos goes back out wide.
Luke, and this is where we start to see the rotation specific to the midfield and the front 3. And if Chelsea goes man-to-man, they're going to need a lot of communication with those secondary runs coming out of the midfield.
Vitinha.
The referee's played advantage, but are talking to, you would expect, that's a good challenge from Enzo, allowing João Neves to know that he's not going to have simple touches off his left shoulder. Going to be plenty of statement challenges, Luke, over the course of this 90 minutes.
Beraldo with the ball through the middle towards Mendes. Picked up by Caicedo. Already a battle in the midfield. João Pedro going tumbling, and the referee has blown the whistle here. 11 minutes in. Chelsea and PSG, it's goalless here.
So it's a strong challenge with 2 players going in opposite direction, and unfortunately for Nuno Mendes, he takes the heaviest of that challenge from João Pedro. The interesting part about João Pedro coming over from Brighton for 55 million is you would have thought that Liam Delap would have been the answer, and based on the start, he was earning the respect from Enzo Maresca in that number 9 position, but picking up that second yellow card, opening the door with the suspension for João Pedro to come in. He's a really fascinating mix of both Liam Delap and Nicholas Jackson.
The first ever club meeting in a major final between teams from England and France. Ball played in from Doué towards the edge of the box. Caicedo into the challenge. He got the ball according to the referee. And João Pedro pushes that one down the left side. Pedro Neto couldn't get away as Marquinhos rushed across to make the challenge. João Pedro will chase. Out of play off Beraldo. And the 3rd start of the tournament.
The referee obviously allowing this game to find its own physicality and the rhythm without using the whistle too often.
Back by Enzo Fernandez, but given away towards Dembele. Cucurella got a touch. And a free kick given now the way of Paris Saint-Germain with Doué down.
Well, initially playing the advantage of possession for PSG, but once that ball was played into the space, it was the foul from Cucurella coming through on Doué. Leaves the foot in. He gets ball, but comes through the player. Nothing more, nothing less. No yellow card warranted.
Desiree Doué starting every game at the tournament. 5 PSG players have started every match. Doué, Hakimi, Kvaratskhelia, Donnarumma and Vitinha. The last 2 of them playing every minute of this Club World Cup so far. Here is Ruiz, who scored 2 goals in the semi-final.
And it won't be lost on Reece James. Those secondary runs popping inside the penalty area is where he was ruthless against Real Madrid the other afternoon here at MetLife. 2 goals from late arriving runs and just cutting the heart and soul of Real Madrid's defense out.
Hakimi down the right side. Looks towards the back post for Kvaratskhelia, but it doesn't work out.
You take another look at the build-up and the layoff from Joao Pedro, and this setup, he's got his goalkeeper at his mercy and just a whisker past the outside of that right post.
Well, PSG have scored 16 goals in the tournament. They got 4 against Real Madrid, 2 against Bayern, 4 against Miami in the 3 knockout round games. They've scored 10 of those 16 in the first half. Chelsea yet to give up a goal in the first 45 minutes of play in this Club World Cup.
Well, look, it looks different than it did the other day against Fluminense. There's the same mentality in terms of the press and trying to win the ball back. But with Nkunku dropping to the bench, Reece James coming in this midfield 3, Cole Palmer has even more time and space to try to pick these spots on the right-hand side of Chelsea's attack.
Dembele dropping very deep to get on the ball there as it goes all the way across from him to Marquinhos and Beraldo. Then with the pass forward for Hakimi. Doué down the right side. Patience here from Paris Saint-Germain as we reach the 15-minute mark. Dembele, the first time ball forward. Ruiz chasing down the left, plays the ball in towards the back post. And a cross from Doué to Hakimi. Maybe Doué should have had a go. The first real opening for Paris Saint-Germain.
Incredible position from Cucurella, and he reads this perfectly. You can understand what Doué is trying to do. He's setting up the inverted run of Hakimi right at the top of the 6-yard box. And Marc Cucurella has to make a decision, and he makes the right one. Watch as he enters the top of the 18-yard box, comes back across, and very quickly recognizes that it's a cutback ball instead of a ball played in front of his goalkeeper. A phenomenal read from the outside left back.
Dembele with the press as Sanchez looks to clear away down the right and get Malo Gusto in round the back of Nuno Mendes. João Pedro's in the middle. Neto and Fernandes there as well, and Enzo Fernandez flicking that ball forward. He's one of 4 players in the squads today that has previously won a World Cup with his country.
So it might not be with the same frequency, Luke, down this right-hand side as it is with Hakimi for PSG, but still effective nonetheless. Gusto has now made 2 important moments to where he sprung out this right-hand side and caught Nuno Mendes leaning forward.
Donnarumma given away to Gusto. Last 5 knockout games played by Paris Saint-Germain. They've won all 5. They've scored 18 goals and they have not conceded. Hakimi down the right. This is Doué, the youngster who made such an impact in the Champions League final.
Now, the 2 Chelsea centre-backs really have important moments of proactive versus reactive reactions.
Kvaratskhelia. Now Ruiz finds Dembele. Back it comes for Vitinha.
Such a fascinating interpretation in this final third with the front 3 for PSG, because the 2 center backs at times are unmarked with anybody around them because it's all directly behind the 2 central midfielders, with Caicedo and Reece James trying to protect both center backs for Chelsea.
Here's Dembele turning. And the way opens up for Dembele as he pushes this one through for Doué on the edge of the box. It's a chance for PSG. It's a very good save, low down by Sanchez.
Well, 3 clean sheets so far for Robert Sanchez, and watch how quickly he gets down to his left-hand side. Big old bear claw. Fantastic stuff from the goalkeeper, but you can see the idea from Doué. Cuts across the grain and trying to go left-hand side of the goalkeeper. Fantastic read from Robert Sanchez.
Donnarumma's long ball downfield and Cucurella underneath it as he looks to clear away. And Neto for Chelsea. Colwill. Sanchez up over halfway, deep into the Paris Saint-Germain half. Hakimi. Cucurella all over Desiree Doué there, but Doué does really well under pressure and gets the ball forward for Hakimi, chasing down the right side. Neto looking to get back to defend. Not much support for Achraf Hakimi. He'll turn it back here towards Neves.
There's a really fascinating rotation that's happening for Luis Enrique's PSG. Ousmane Dembélé has pulled all the way out, but he's underneath Kvaratskhelia on this left-hand side in the attack with possession, and that's allowing both Doué and Hakimi to be 1v1, 2v2 in moments where one checks with Doué, Hakimi then exposes him behind.
20 minutes in, it's 0-0 between Chelsea and PSG. Cole Palmer going close for Chelsea in the opening stages as they started really well. And then a couple of excellent opportunities for Paris Saint-Germain.
So both these teams, their setup is predicated on width. And they're really trying to allow the midfield three, both for Chelsea and PSG, based in possession, the opportunity in 1v1 moments to really stretch, run, and force the opponent to chase early and often.
Sanchez wide to the right, lovely ball onto the chest of Gusto, who would have been away, but it went out of play. Enzo Maresca is not happy with the decision from the assistant at all.
And with all due respect, Chelsea has done everything right to start this match 21 minutes in, effectively matching man for man, situation for situation, what in Luis Enrique's side has been so consistent in doing since match day one.
Hakimi up against Cucurella on halfway.
Look how much space he's got.
Powerful run forward from Hakimi, who finds Dembélé on the left touchline. Dembélé into the path of Kvaratskhelia, all the way across the 6-yard box. Cucurella can clear. João Neves with the challenge, picked up by Enzo Fernandez. Reece James in the midfield here for Chelsea. And this is Cole Palmer. Neto frustrated, he wanted it played early, wide to the left and was in space.
Yeah, he wanted a cutback ball against the grain because he understood Hakimi still is just recovering to his right back position after making that fantastic run and exposing Cucurella centrally.
Colwill back after suspension. 22-year-old English defender missed the semi-final after yellow cards in the other two knockout rounds. Round of 16 in the quarter-final. Goes off the head of Mendes, and Gusto's in here down the right side. It's Gusto, pulls it back onto the left foot, and the block comes in. Back for Cole Palmer on the edge of the box. Cole Palmer scores! Chelsea with the lead in the Club World Cup final.
Moments for Chelsea, and as this ball once again is dumped down this right-hand side into space, Malo Gusto gets the best of a mistake made by Nuno Mendes, the outside left back for PSG. Right now, conversation Hakimi, he was unhappy with everything that transpired after the ball hit the back of the net. Referee involvement. As the captain called over, Hakimi still trying to argue his point to Reece James. But this ball is direct, and Nuno Mendes, he's playing the offside line, but at the same time, the responsibility is to get back. He doesn't cleanly win the header. As he goes to ground, he recognizes the mistake made. Gusto, if not for that cutback, the angle's cut down, and as it squirts back out to Cole Palmer, this isn't about power. This is all about placement. Keeps it on the deck, and similar to his goal against Palmeiras a couple of days ago, Cole Palmer opens up the scoreline for Chelsea with a phenomenal finish.
Cole Palmer Palmer's second goal of the tournament. The 23-year-old has played every minute of the knockout rounds. And he has Chelsea in front here. Just after the midway mark of the first half. And just the second goal that Paris Saint-Germain have conceded in the tournament. The only other time they gave up the goal was the only time they lost here at the Club World Cup. This is the 65th game of the season for PSG, a new record for a Ligue 1 club. 64th match of the year for Chelsea. João Pedro has it down the left side, but the flag is up here for offside.
Well, they were frustrated against Bayern Munich in the way that Vincent Kompany set his team up, and a lot of it was predicated on the press, initiated by Harry Kane. Today, Chelsea has not only matched that start defensively with the press, but they've one-upped Bayern Munich because they got the goal in the first 45 minutes. And that turns this game upside down with the expectation of what PSG has done consistently from match day one.
It ends Paris Saint-Germain's run of 436 minutes without conceding a goal. It was 7 hours and 16 minutes when Cole Palmer found the net. Palmer this week riding a scooter through Times Square. Yesterday he was on top of the Rockefeller Center at a photo shoot with Ousmane Dembele. And today scores the opening goal of the Club World Cup final. Chalobah chasing back. Slides in with the challenge. And as we reach the water break here at MetLife Stadium, it's 1-0 for Chelsea against Paris Saint-Germain. Palmer with his 17th goal of the campaign in 52 appearances in all competitions. He had 15 in the Premier League. Chelsea's top scorer this year. Saturday, August 16th, DAZN brings you another huge boxing heavyweight showdown. Unbeaten 20-year-old heavyweight prospect Moses Itoma taking on former world title challenger Dylan White in Riyadh. You can buy now at DAZN.com. And on Saturday, July 19th, DAZN brings you another blockbuster boxing fight with Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois facing off again for the undisputed heavyweight title in London. Buy that one now as well on DAZN.com.
We talked a lot about Chelsea in this tournament, their endurance tested, the new prospects integrated, and the opportunity to either earn the respect of the manager or lose the respect of the manager. And the combination play for the opening opportunity of Cole Palmer, hitting the stanchion in behind, it looked from the referee's view just inches past the outside of that right post. But indicative of what was to come as Cole Palmer, once again, a fantastic season in 2024-2025. The opportunity going in the opposite direction, Doué. And what a save this is. Reaction. While his body might have been going to his right, he gets in that center of balance to react down to his left-hand side. Gets a big palm to it, keeps it in front of him. Phenomenal from Robert Sanchez. 3 clean sheets against LAFC, Esperance, and Fluminense. But transition moments cut back from Malo Gusto. And as this ball squirts back out, Cole Palmer. This is, again, not about power. He's picked his spot, keeps it on the deck, and just kisses it. Far post, side net. A phenomenal finish, similar to the goal he scored against Palmeiras a couple of match days ago.
And Cole Palmer now has 6 goal contributions in 6 finals at senior level. He assisted on the opening.
Hakimi, better than James. Number 3, Cucurella and Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes is better than Cucurella. 4 and 5. Marquinhos is good pass, Chelsea, 2 defenders. If you come to midfielders, the same team. PSG midfielders, they top. Pass Chelsea, you hear me, okay? If you go forward that, Dembele, Kwaskeri, and other people, so you better than Chelsea. Chelsea team, nobody, the first level, we want enter the PSG level.
Why?
Yeah. That be, sir. I describe.
So do you think that
PSG is better than Chelsea? Yeah. Right now, PSG is the best team in the world. Yeah.
You see, power be, the name send your power be on the show, any arrogance. How a good thing, the age of getting him on office. How a good thing. That's why I want to come and make sure I'm a bottom chill. Make sure I'm keeping my bottom chair. I swear to God. Make sure I'm a good thing, my bottom chair. Yeah, that is what, in presence of my wife, getting him on office. This arrogant woman. So what bottom one? What you say? My bottom chair. You are walking away now. Pick up a new one. Look, the new machine, but you know, every Pioneer himself has nothing against him. And I want to we'll see if he will deliver Ashanti vision. I'm never going to forgive them if you know the efforts are put in to get numbers in Ashanti region. Or not for the road. You know, so the phone police spoke with Shebra. Also, you make them think you don't want eating. No eating us. Put the money and drink. Yeah, right.
Breakout tournament. And he got his goal against Palmeiras a couple matches ago. But on this left-hand side, with that wand of a left foot, it's a great run from Gusto because it causes the defenders to hesitate if he cuts that ball back across for a first-time finish for Gusto. But instead, keeps it on that left foot, and even with the baby bouncies at the top of the penalty area, almost mimics the goal he scored 7 minutes earlier.
Paris Saint-Germain, having been so dominant throughout the tournament, have now conceded twice in the first half an hour of the final. The European champions winning 10 of their last 11 matches. Chelsea winning 13 of 15 in all competitions. Two teams very much in form, but it's Chelsea who have come out firing today. Here's Dembele. Cut out by Cucurella.
The confidence is entirely visible right now for Chelsea. And Luke, to put that into context, a 5-0 Champions League final win against Inter. A 4-0 win against Atletico Madrid at the Rose Bowl in the opening match day. 2-0 against Bayern Munich. And they throttled Real Madrid 4-0 a few days ago here. To see this type of start from Chelsea is extraordinary, considering we're in the first calendar year of what Enzo Maresca has been trying to put together, building upon the departure of last season with Mauricio Pochettino.
Cleared away by Chalobah, right wide to Neto on the far side. Hakimi wanted handball, but Neto will run forward. Just a few days ago here in this stadium, PSG were 3 up against Real Madrid after 24 minutes. Now they have a 2-goal deficit to try and return from. Cole Palmer's last game with multiple first-half goals was his 4-goal performance against Brighton last September, when all 4 goals were scored in the first half. Nuno Mendes with the ball all the way back towards Donnarumma.
And Luke, I just think the addition of Reece James back in the starting 11 really does have a cause and effect of the most powerful manner for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca, because it allows Malo Gusto to be higher down this right-hand side, Cole Palmer to be tucking underneath, and effectively do everything we were predictive of between this man, Desiree Doué, and Achraf Hakimi on the opposite side for PSG. They've effectively out-PSG'd PSG in this first 33-34 minutes.
With Cole Palmer's brace, it's now 194 goals scored in this FIFA Club World Cup tournament. This match number 63. We've had 2 hat-tricks. Musiala and Abu Ali, and Cole Palmer is 1 goal away from recording a hat-trick in the final. In the 34th minute, as the referee awards the free kick here, the way of Chelsea. Chelsea playing in their 3rd Club World Cup final. In its previous format, much smaller of course. They won in 2021, the final played in February of 2022, a 2-1 victory against Palmeiras after extra time. Havertz winning it with a penalty. Chalobah, the only player involved today, was an unused sub that day, and US international Christian Pulisic came on after half an hour of that game. As a yellow card is shown. First player into the book is Neto. Sanchez with the crossfield ball straight out of play on the far side. Luis Enrique has never played or managed against Chelsea, 55-year-old. In charge of Paris Saint-Germain now for 2 years. Won a Club World Cup with Barcelona in 2015. The final that day was a 3-0 win against River Plate. Mendes across the back for Beraldo.
It's been really intelligent the way the 2 center-backs for Chelsea have stepped. Levi Colwill right now sitting centrally in the top of the center circle with Ousmane Dembélé. Trevor Chalobah, he's dipped in on a few occasions with Fabian Ruiz as he drops back, and now Moises Caicedo going 1v1 with Desiree Doué.
Hakimi in towards Doué. Goes off Caicedo. And a free kick given here.
He's booted the ball and delaying the restart. It's going to be another yellow card.
2 yellows now, both going the way of Chelsea, with Moises Caicedo joining his teammate Pedro Neto in the book.
Oh, he's apologetic, but he booted the ball. He toe-poked it off the signboard on the far side, and obviously delaying the restart. It's a foul, and it's frustrating, and he was apologetic, but he's still held accountable.
Kvaratskhelia. Now Mendes. This is Vitinha. Everyone back behind the ball for Chelsea. Doué against Caicedo on the far side. Support wide from Hakimi, but he couldn't find anybody there as Caicedo plays it forward. Picked up by Beraldo. Pressure coming quickly there on Marquinhos from Neto.
I think one of the big benefits for Enzo Maresca in this tournament that doesn't often spoken about is the fact that he's had this group of players in the build for the start of next season.
Over the top towards Ruiz. Robert Sanchez comes a long way. He gets there first and into touch on the far side for a throw for Paris Saint-Germain with 37 minutes on the clock here at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, the venue that will stage the World Cup final a little over a year from now.
Look at these 7 matches we've seen at the FIFA Club World Cup for Enzo Maresca. We've seen 4 or 5 legitimate different shapes and identities. And whether that's Pedro Neto on the right-hand side, the left-hand side, Malo Gusto sitting as a rolling 6, sometimes on the left, sometimes on the right, or even Reece James in more of a subtle number 6 destroyer position alongside Moises Caicedo, and really allowing Enzo to flare up on that left-hand side, Cole Palmer to flare on this right-hand side. One of the benefits of being together and integrating all of this new young talent, and probably figuring out a summer where they need to generate some money with outgoing players. Nani Madueke, one of those players. That benefit, I think, is on show.
Gusto chasing onto the ball forward. This was the tussle that led to one of Chelsea's goals here. Mendes this time able to hold off Gusto. As Donnarumma plays it out to the right side for Marquinhos. Out off Neto on the far side from Hakimi's ball forward for a throw here for PSG.
Well, they've been aggressive, they've been organized, Luke, and they've been relentless from the opening whistle.
João Pedro. Beraldo gets a touch. Doué playing it back for Beraldo. The central defender finds João Neves. Enzo Fernandez getting there very quickly to force PSG backwards. Fabian Ruiz carrying it forward. Spaniard wide to that right side, looking for Hakimi. Two goals from Cole Palmer have Chelsea in front here. Vitinha, Ruiz. Doué turns and rolls it forward towards Hakimi on the far side, up against Cucurella. Back for Vitinha. Ruiz with the ball curled into the middle, and a big punch away there by Sanchez as João Neves was about to throw himself at the ball, and Neto is away down the left for Chelsea. Charging forward, João Pedro making the run into the middle. It's all the way towards the penalty spot. Cole Palmer was free at the back post. Not the ball that they would have wanted, and a yellow card is coming here. Another one for Chelsea, this time from Mal. Chelsea unable to take advantage of that break forward. They had the numbers up. 5 minutes before the break, plus a little bit of time that will be added on. Really, the only stoppage was the cooling break. Vitinha linking up there with Ruiz. Dembele has been frustrated up top this afternoon. Hasn't really been able to see much of the ball. Also, Kvaratskhelia on the left and Doué on the right.
Well, Luke, it's been about 15 minutes since Luis Enrique had Bradley Barcola, Zaire Emery, Mayulu all warming up to the right-hand side of the PSG bench. Assets coming on, but bigger picture, bigger question, who do you take off to find the balance needed to get back in this game?
Goes off Colwell, and Doué will chase towards the corner flag. And out it goes for a Paris Saint-Germain corner here. Coutinho will make his way across to the far side to take it. Marquinhos coming forward from the back. Beraldo in there as well. Coutinho with 2 assists in the tournament so far. In towards Doué on the edge of the box after the short corner. Here's Hakimi. Dembele over the top. The ironic cheers from the Chelsea fans, who seem to be dominating the crowd here at MetLife Stadium, certainly in terms of the noise being made.
I guess the question is, Luke, is it fatigue or is it frustration? Because similar to what we saw against Bayern Munich, they are chasing quite a bit defensively without the ball. The difference, Chelsea's punished the mistakes of PSG in transition moments.
Cole Palmer chasing forward. Rolls it through. João Pedro and a goal! João Pedro makes it 3-0 for Chelsea in the first half of the Club World Cup final. The Londoners are in dreamland against the European champions.
João Pedro crowning the king, Cole Palmer. What a first half this has been for Chelsea Football Club. Third goal of the tournament after his double, his first start for Chelsea against his boyhood club, Fluminense. refused to celebrate out of respect. Malo Gusto, a constant presence down this right-hand side. But the weight of the ball with that left foot from Cole Palmer and the deftness of the chip. 6'6", Donnarumma's trying to stay as big as possible until the very last second. But that ball perfectly weighted. You can go right, you can go left, and he goes right over the top of Donnarumma. What a fantastic goal from João Pedro once again.
His third of the tournament. The Chelsea bench can celebrate an incredible first half performance here in the Club World Cup final. They scored 4 goals in their last final, the Conference League final against Real Betis. And they have scored 3 in the first half here against the European champions who had only conceded once in the tournament. Paris Saint-Germain with clean sheets in 7 of their last 8 matches heading into the Club World Cup final. Cole Palmer with 2 goals and an assist. João Pedro has his 3rd Chelsea goal. Here comes Nuno Mendes with the ball through. Goes off Chalobah and Sanchez will play. We're told 6 minutes of stoppage time coming here at the end of the half. Paris Saint-Germain's biggest defeats this season, 2-0 against Arsenal in the Champions League last October, 3-1 against Nice in the league in April.
Luke, coming into this match, we talked about small margins. We were predictive with proactive versus reactive moments. We talked about set pieces. We talked about the psychology versus the physical side of the game. And Chelsea has exposed every flaw that we didn't know PSG has had.
Dembele's ball forward. Bukaré with a challenge. He gives away the foul with that tackle on Neves. João Pedro scored twice as Chelsea beat Fluminense here in the semi-final. They won 2-1 against Palmeiras in Philadelphia in the quarter-final after scoring 4 against Benfica in the round of 16, although that did go to extra time. Benfica a man down in that extra time period.
Yeah, but wasn't it interesting, Luke? All the narrative surrounding this run to the final for Chelsea was about who they didn't play. While PSG going through Atleti, going through Bayern Munich, going through Real Madrid. The dominance from the opening whistle has been phenomenal. They have dealt with everything that PSG does consistently so well with the ball, and then expose them in transition moments with their offensive strength and their player profiles. The intelligence, the technical ability, the athleticism, they've checked every box in this first half.
Headed forward from Beraldo as it's picked up by Vitinha. João Neves. Wide for Hakimi on the far side. Bit of space here for Achraf Hakimi. Hakimi's ball is a good one, and Neves with a header, but Sanchez gets down well to save.
Well, dangerous run coming from a midfielder, and thankfully not a heavy collision as João Neves gets his header down to the right-hand side, and another strong save from Robert Sanchez. He's had 2 really important moments in this first half to keep PSG off the board.
The narrative coming in, Dunny, being all in PSG's favour and everything they've accomplished. It was also talked about the fact that they, in their run to the Champions League success, had managed to knock out some big English teams, the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa. They beat Manchester City in Paris back in January as well. But today, they've had no answer so far for Chelsea. Kvaratskhelia. Really nicely done as it's played down the line from Gusto towards João Pedro, who already has 1 goal on the day. Neves in with a challenge, Mendes there as well. It's picked up by Neto here along the edge of the box. Not much by way of support. Coutinho wins it back. And Marquinhos looks to get it away.
Only his third appearance. João Pedro looks like he is 100% nailed in, the starter for Chelsea going forward. And what does that say for Nicholas Jackson? What does that say for Liam Delap?
Push forward for Hakimi. Moses Caicedo tries to get back. He gets the block in on Hakimi's ball into the box. Challengers starting to fly in here as the referee gives this the way of PSG. 2 minutes of stoppage time left at the end of the first half. Roll forward towards Doué. Nicely defended at the back by Chalobah.
Just think about the 6 months for Trevor Chalobah. Playing with Chris Richards over at Crystal Palace, recalled back to Chelsea. And a nailed-on starter in this back four for Enzo Maresca in a Club World Cup final. Take another look at the build-up, and Cole Palmer picks his spot. Eerily similar to what we saw in the 22nd minute. Full stretch, 6'6" frame. Donnarumma to his right-hand side on both occasions. This time trying to stay as big as possible for as long as possible. And a deft little touch and chip from João Pedro. Just put two hands in the chest of Nuno Mendes.
Robert Sanchez with the high ball forward. Palmer tries to bring it down. Looked like it hit his hand. Palmer. Geraldo first there at the back across from Marquinhos. Here's Fabian Ruiz. Dembele has Doué making the run down the right side, but he won't be able to keep that one in play. And we're 60 seconds or so away from the half-time whistle here at MetLife Stadium.
Enzo Maresca took a risk, Luke, because this is the same formation. The only change, Liam Delap on the bench, João Pedro in the starting 11 with Reece James sitting in that midfield with Enzo and Moises Caicedo. That lineup on the day ended up losing 3-1 to Flamengo when it was all said and done. Nicholas Jackson coming on 3 minutes later being shown red, but they were already down 3-1 at that moment. A completely dominant performance, day and night, for what we saw against Flamengo.
Brought down here by Doué as he tried to chip it forward. Cucurella looks to defend. Doué gets a touch, but there's nobody there. And that should just about be it, with the 6 minutes of stoppage time having been played. Well, who would have expected this? Chelsea in control after 45 minutes of play. 2 goals and an assist for Cole Palmer here as Paris Saint-Germain trail 3-0.
Two of the youngest rosters in this tournament, both with something to prove. That first half, all Chelsea. Full commitment, both sides.
At MetLife Stadium, it's Chelsea 3, PSG 0.